Hi, I'm Dr. Divina Lopez, a board-certified pediatrician with over 10 years of experience in pediatrics, and you are listening to Dancing into Parenthood. Hello, and welcome back to Dancing into Parenthood. So this podcast is going to be a very powerful podcast, and I want you to understand how important it is to establish good attachment styles with your baby. This is the reason why I consider doing the work before your baby arrives so important. So I generally tell parents who are interested in doing the digital course with me to please do it before the baby comes into their lives, because there is a lot of introspection that I need parents to do before they bring another human being into this world. So basically, it's about taking a look at yourself, understanding your own attachment style. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about right now, it's like, what are these attachment styles that she's talking about? So if you've never done any research on this, if you haven't heard about what attachment styles are, I'm talking about emotional attachment styles that adults have, which actually form way before you become an adult. We actually form these attachment styles according to the bonds that we have with our parents from our first year of life. So I hope that explains why I consider this work so important. I consider this work so important because we have to know how we affect our children before they come into this world, because they're coming in with a blank slate, right? And for those parents who are listening to this and already have children, I still want you to stay tuned in, because this is not just for new and expecting parents. This is also for any parent who wants to have a good relationship with their child and wants their child to also develop a secure attachment bond even into their adulthood. Okay? So what I want you to know about yourself is, what sort of attachment style do you have, right? Are you one of the lucky people who have a secure attachment style where you have healthy relationships? And I would probably think that you can apply this to any relationship in your life. Do you have healthy relationships that are reciprocal, where you're not dependent on people, where we're going to go into the other stuff because sometimes we have attachment styles where we're too dependent, codependent, right? You've heard of those terms probably. So I'm not the expert at any of this, but either you're a very lucky adult who has a secure attachment style, or you may be an adult with an avoidant kind of attachment style. I'm guilty of that. And there are also adults that have anxious, resistant sort of attachment styles. Okay. So what studies have actually shown, and they've done studies on babies, is that you learn these attachment styles in your early stages of life. So all the way, like from birth to like 12 months is when you actually start forming these attachment styles. And it actually starts off with a parent-child bond, right? So any baby is looking for three things in their caregiver. They are looking to see whether they are available to them, whether they are accessible and nearby and attentive, right? And this is what makes a baby feel like they are loved, they feel secure, and this also helps them to feel confident. So a secure kind of attachment style, you had that early on from your parents, right? That was established. And this is the kind of attachments that I want parents to learn to have with their babies before the baby arrives. And so this is stuff that we talk about, and I teach you how to do this in the digital program and when we meet. And we talk about this because I want you to know your own style, because if you need to do some work on yourself, that's the time to do it before the baby comes. So you can go through your healing process, understanding your own attachment styles. And then that helps you to figure out what kind of parenting style do you want to have or hope to have and establish with your own baby. Because we want to have babies who become very secure adults, right? We want them to be able to feel confident, to socialize, to grow, to have good behaviors. And all of this is the foundation for establishing that sort of adult behavior, right? And we don't even need to use the word adult behavior. I shouldn't have said that. I should just say, like, in general, a healthy person, right? Because your baby's not going to stay a baby forever. You're going to go from baby to toddlerhood to child to adolescent, you know? And we want our children to feel loved by us. We want them to know that they are safe and secure in the environment that we are providing for them to live in. And I always talk about us thriving. If you want to thrive and not be in survival mode, then we need to get rid of those anxious, avoidant kind of attachments, because those are the sort of attachments that become unhealthy into adulthood and can cause many sort of behaviors. Especially, can you imagine with a toddler who doesn't feel like they're safe and loved and provided for? Then you can imagine what sort of outbursts or tantrums your toddler would have if they didn't feel this from day one. So it's important to learn about yourself before your baby comes. And that's why I talk about, like, healing the parent will heal the child. This is how we break cycles. This is how honest we have to be with ourselves and even perhaps family members. Learning about our own parents, learning about our pasts, healing ourselves so that we make better decisions moving forward. And so when I started off the podcast, I said that this one is a very powerful one because this is not easy work to do. A lot of times people don't want to even think about their past, and because a lot of painful, scary memories, emotions may come up when you're doing this sort of work. And this is why it's important to do it with someone who's trained to help you go through it, like a good therapist. I think it's important for parents to understand that having support and guidance is not selfish. It's something that is so mature of you to do, so that your baby can grow into a healthy individual who can be a person who contributes to this world, a person who not only can help themselves but help others, a person who will be happy, who will live a joyful life. We have to understand that our children are not little versions of us, that they are their own person, that we also need to learn about them and be curious about them. Parenting is not just about providing food and shelter. There's a huge component of emotional well-being and love. And I really believe that that's what humanity is all about. Being curious enough to understand that we're not perfect. Learning how to forgive ourselves is so important, because we oftentimes feel like we're failing at something that maybe we think we should be good at. It takes time and effort, just like anything else that you want to be good at, right? Going through like the mechanics of school for so long in order to become a professional, going through medical school and residency and all this training that I did personally, to become a physician. I think back at all those years of training, and we should never ever feel as parents like we should have just been born knowing this stuff. It's impossible, right? If I did that much training to learn how to take care of kids, what time and effort have you put in to learn how to take care of your own kids? I also think that that sort of training needs to go into our own personal relationships. We can't expect to just have somebody there and know how it all works out. Like, you need to be prepared for these huge, beautiful experiences that you're going to have with somebody. But how are you molding yourself, training yourself, taking the time to put the effort into having a great relationship with someone else? That's basically what it is. We want to have great parent-child relationships that last forever. Then we need to establish that early on. We can't wait for our kids to become teenagers or adults and then try to have like good relationships with them. No, you can actually have fantastic relationships from the very start, but that takes understanding yourself, knowing what you want out of this relationship, and knowing what you're willing to put into it in order for it to be a beautiful, flourishing relationship. I love you all. I'm always available for you when you need me, and more than happy to answer your questions. I know this one was deep as well. I think every episode so far for this year has been pretty deep. And I hope that you enjoy these episodes, that you're getting really good information out of this, and please spread the word, because I want happy, healed families. I love you all. Bye. For more support from me, you should visit my website at www.drdivinalopez.com, where you can find information regarding my digital courses and membership. Also, don't forget to follow me on your favorite social media platforms at Dr. Divina Lopez. Thank you for listening. Please keep in mind that all advice in this podcast is general information. To understand your specific situation, you must consult with your provider.